Hey, good morning, guys. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Hey, Danelle. How are you, love? I pray everything is well with you. Uh, Happy Monday. So, I am Keith K.L. Belvin, crisis specialist, author, educator. And I wanted to come on this morning, and I want to say thank you. Let me get that out the way now. Let me first say thank you to everyone because I always try to send some type of reaction to respond to everyone who will send me a birthday wish today. But it can tend to get overwhelming. But I try to make sure I like every post. I love every post actually because I really do because you no day is guaranteed. So I'm not one of those people that trip out on, well, the only time I hear from you is on my birthday. Listen, that's a blessing nowadays with so many people not being here. And I want to say that that's the reason why I wanted to come on this morning is that I'm happy and I'm honored to be 54. And right now with so many people not here, it is a blessing. As a therapist and as a counselor, I spend my time listening to the problems that people have, and I have to be in a non-judgmental way to help them the best that I can. And as a man of God, I try to remain unjudgmental. And one of the things that I attempt to do is always find a positive or try to figure out a problem so we can eradicate it and then allow a person to get back to the happiness that they're missing. And I can tell you something, this past weekend I went up to New York to bowl. And anytime I'm going up to New York, I stay at my sister's house. And it's always interesting for me in terms of my feelings because I'm coming to my mother's house, my mother and grandmother's house. My sister now is there, and to come there and not have either one of those ladies there, is just different. But I realized part of this whole process is that you have to be okay with letting some things go. Not the memories, but the emotion that prevents you from moving forward. You're always going to be emotional about the people that you love. And there's nothing wrong with that. I have my quiet moments in the house thinking about my mom and my grandmother. My sister has a couple pictures around the house of them, and I see them. And I have my little moments with them. But here's what I realize, and I don't know who needs to hear this today. Okay, so I want to make sure I share this. Is that if you allow God, God will show you how great things really are. And this weekend, and let me just back up a second. When God shows you how great things really are, it is not the grandiose things that we think are important. See, as men and women, we try to create the grandiose. We want the grandiose birthday. We want the grandiose party. We want the grandiose car. We want it all. Those things matter not to the Lord. And so, but what he will show you if you pay attention, he will show you how great life is and why you should humble yourself while you're in the midst of life. And when you start to allow that in, you take a moment with that, it's going to hit differently than a lot of other things. And to my younger folks, this is why you sit at your elders' feet. The older, the better. And if they still have clarity of mind, you cling to their feet and listen to every word that you can. Brother Mac, what's going on, bro? Belated happy birthday to you as well, my brother. And the older that your grandparents are, the older that your parents are, you cling to them. You get at their feet and you listen. Because the one thing that they're going to give you if you listen is wisdom to some things that you have not seen yet. And then what you choose to do with that wisdom is on you. But I guarantee you, if you allow God to show you, you will see how wonderful things really are. And that why a lot of the things that you're worried about or trying to cling to, you shouldn't. This weekend, like I said, coming back home, I got to see my sons. Well, two of them anyway. And of course, I have my daughter with me. So she gets to see her cousins. So I got to see my niece and nephew and how big they're getting. And I got to hang out with my brother-in-law. Shout out to Darnell. That's my dude. And then shout out to my sister, Letitia. So right there, walking through the door, I come through the door with Tiff, KL, and my partner, Adam. And we're loved. So the love meets you there. That's one thing. So when you have love in place and you have people who want to give back what you're giving, and that mix is in the house. Thanks, brother. Appreciate you. Thanks, Flex. When that love is in place, that's one of the first things that God shows you. Is that you don't need much to give and receive love. Right? So that's one thing. Then the memories that are in the house. God allowed me to be clear of mind to enjoy those memories of my mother and grandmother, to be able to see and remember how things were while still enjoying the way things are. Now, let me give you something else. And I'm going to show you. Thank you, Yolanda. Appreciate you. And I'm going to show you another way that God works. So now I came up here to bowl. So I have Adam with me. And here's the funny thing is, and me and Adam joke about this, Adam being white and me being black. So I told Adam, you're one of actually the only white guy that's ever been in my grandmother's house who wasn't a cop. And when you live in South Jamaica, y'all understand the prevalence of that joke. But it didn't matter that he was white because my family don't play those games. If you roll with me and you walk through the door with me, then the love that is given to me is given to you. And you see that now, this being his second time in my home, in my family's home, you see him growing more comfortable with the love. And again, God is showing you how he works. So the love that comes through you flows to somebody else. And we miss those things with all the other things we're struggling to do. And then when we get to the bowling alley, and again, I bring Adam with me because he's growing as a bowler, getting better as a bowler. He's actually pretty good. And now we come back into Garden City. And again, I'm going to show you how God works. I get to see people I haven't seen since I left New York. Some people that I bowled with, hung out with, joked and laughed with, befriended, all of that. And when you start to see faces that you haven't seen in a while, but you see the glow and the love and the respect that you had the last time you seen them, again, God is showing you he's working. And then when you reminisce, shout out to Baba, shout out to Wayne, shout out to Bello, shout out to Little Bit, shout out to Cat Rodriguez, shout out to my man Paul Rodriguez. That's my dude. And shout out to anybody else that I missed. Shout out to Tynell Tate. It's my dude. And here's what you realize. You realize how many people are no longer here. You know, I had a moment when I was sitting at Garden City. I didn't say anything to anybody. But the last time I was in Garden City, Putt was alive. And we bowled I was bowling as a member of the Classic Walk Down team. And then I got to see, shout out to Mark Hall and Teresa Hall. And all of us at Classic were bowling. And you start to realize how many folks are not here. And again, God is showing you who he is. Because he's going to take some. Because that's what he chooses to do. And I think we get so tied up Thank you, Brother Bellinger. We get so tied up on all the stuff, all the things, the items, the money, the whatever, the prestige, all of that. And we forget some of the very basic and simple things. I was in the house this weekend and got to watch. There go my man Baba. Shout out to Baba, who I got to see, and I'm just about to mention. When Baba and I met, we met in the parking lot as we were coming in, and to see each other, the love is genuine, the love is real. And then when Baba tells me that he overcame leukemia, do you understand the blessing that is? That God allowed him to be able to keep going, and then we connect to be able to have that conversation. See, if we allow the things in the world to cloud our vision, if we try to pile up on all the things, but forget that life is about the relationships that you have with other people, and if they're of quality. If you allow God to show you, he will show you. Yeah, shout out to Scratch. I'm getting there too. Shout out to Scratch. I'm getting there. So when you get to talk and you reminisce and you pick up on right where you left off with some people, and they're filling you in on what's going on with them, and you're filling it. And then, just like this, some of y'all are watching me and I'm watching you guys. But then when you actually are in the presence, and I want you to really pay attention to that, because that is something that COVID has kind of stole from us. But I want you to understand that you have to fight and hold on to this. There's nothing better than being in the presence of people who genuinely want you to be there, who genuinely love you, and you love back, just to have those moments of laughter, to see those smiles, those hugs, and genuine hugs, real hugs. Men hugging men, men hugging women, and nothing overtly anything, just pure love. See, God places himself there for us if we pay attention to it. And we miss that often because we're so focused on everything else. We want so many other things. The bowling, I could have bowled better. Yeah, I made a little bit of money. It's not about none of that. Because my thing was, I made sure I took some pictures. Tynell and I was talking. Mark and Hall, and when I think about Mark Hall and Teresa and us as not just teammates, I bowled with his father. And when I look at little bit son, how big he's getting, and remember how small he was, that I've had a chance to watch him grow. If you pay attention to the things that God allows you to see, you've seen a lot in whatever amount of years that God grants you. And then it reminds you of the people that's no longer here to see that. And it should put life in a different perspective for you. It should anyway. So I was very happy and sad at the same time, but not sad to the point that I can't move and do anything like that. Just sad because I think of the people that's not going to be here any longer. And I think of the relationships I've had with them, and then I think of the people that I'm still connected to. And that if bowling is going to be the tether, then let it be. Because now I have somebody in Adam who's young, 29, who now gets to see that and experience that. Now, shout out to Flex for bringing up my man Scratch. When we came to bowl the next morning, went to Wantagh, and Scratch, and I saw my man Jazz, who I bowled with on Monday night. I seen Diane Slaughter, who former teammate of mine. And when her, Scratch, and I were together, I took a picture. And I realized this is the first time all three of us have been together since we bowled out in Sheridan back in 2009 or something like that. So imagine 12 years later, just to be able in the same place with each other. That is a blessing. You know why? Because there's a lot of people over those 12 years who's no longer here. Thank you, Veronica. Appreciate that. And then she told me she's dealing with some things with her family, and she's traveling, and Scratch and I hanging out talking trash as usual. He took a little bit of money off me. I got to give him his credit. He got $10. Don't let him think he took a whole lot of money from me. He won a couple of games. I got one, but listen, I just couldn't. I rolled the ball well. It just didn't fall my way. But that's secondary. Because as Scratch and I are sitting and talking and laughing and joking, I'm seeing the love that him and I have for each other being poured onto Adam. And I see the other men that are there bowling and pot bowling, who some of them I know, many of them I know and know very well. That love to me is being poured to him, and he's embracing it all. That's how God works as well. Because when it's real, the love has to overflow. You can't contain that. And if you're honest about who you are and what you do, then the people who care about you and love you are going to love who comes with you. That's why you got to be very careful of who you allow to roll with you. You don't want love being bestowed on them, and they shouldn't even be in your circle. That's why you got to be mindful. That's why you young folks learn from us old folks. Yeah, I'm 54 today. God bless. But something that Scratch reminded me of last night, and the same thing goes back to Tynell as well. I made the mistake and I said, this is my dude of 20 years. Scratch said, nah, bro, 30 years. And I was like, yeah, you're right, 30 years. Scratch and I have known each other, been connected for 30 years. I've known Tynell for 40. I've known his uncle, Antoine Sinclair, 40. When you can be in the presence of people that you went from being a child with to an adult and still be here, that's God. See, we try to make God more or make God less, depending on what your position in the world is, when it's not that deep for you and for me. But how deep God really is how he positions us. We would like to think that we're in control of it. We're not. Because what do we hear all the time? You live every day like it's the last, because no man know the day or no woman knows the day that they're not going to be here. Also, over this weekend, I lost my cousin Debbie. But she was battling through cancer. And anytime I hear of cancer, I'm automatically reminded of my grandmother. But not just my grandmother. Tiff's mother. Tiff's father. Tiff's brother. So we've dealt with cancer. We've dealt with cancer. And it sucks. F cancer. So when you have the luxury of being in the presence of those that love you, and don't trip over those that don't love you. Don't trip over family who don't act a certain way. Don't trip on that. People are going to be people. And don't think somebody's supposed to love you just because y'all share the same blood. Don't trip on that. Love is an action word. It is a verb. Love is what you do. Love is how you interact. Love is what you share. Love is what you receive. And often we spend so much time tripping over those. Yeah, it does suck, Veronica. It really does. Sometimes we spend so much time tripping over those that we want love from, and we miss those who are still here to grant us love right now. Thank you, brother James. Yo, shout out to you, brother James. Thank you. I appreciate the happy birthday. Shout out to you for fighting, my dude, and still being here. And I appreciate you, man, and I love you, bro. And it was great to see your BC squad. They favored in the money. They was in Classic was in the top 6. BC Suicide Squad. So all members of our teams older teams were represented. I'm still getting my Delaware team together. They'll be there when it's all said and done, I'm sure. And that right there, when you have a chance to reminisce with somebody, that's a blessing. When you have a chance to root somebody on from a distance. Thank you, Michelle. Appreciate you. When you have a chance to root somebody on from a distance, when you have a chance to finally meet somebody that you've been talking to on social media, that's a blessing. So yes, for my birthday, I just simply wanted to come on and say thank you for all the birthday wishes. But it ain't about me. I want you to understand that it's about God allowing me to be here. And I think Baba said it. You know, he had to overcome leukemia, but he's just happy to be here. And you know what the crazy thing is? I so understand that. My knees are bothering me. I'm going to the orthopedic specialist tomorrow. But it's still a blessing to even be here and be able to bowl. Knee pain be damned. But it's a blessing. It's a blessing to be able to pour in to somebody else to help them and watch them bowl. It's a blessing to sit and talk trash with Paul Rodriguez and Scratch all over again. Yeah, I lost some money to both of them, and yeah, I'll hear about it the next time I see him. Paul, you're always going to hear about it, but I love him. But let me tell you something that I told, hey, Toya, thank you. Let me tell you something that I told Adam when I was introducing him to Paul. And when you get to introduce somebody to the people that you care about and that care about you, that's a special thing. Because let me tell you something that I told Adam when I was introducing him to Paul. I said, this dude right here, if you ever need something, you call him. If you can't get to me, if you need something, you just call him and say, yo, and he'll help you. You know why I know that? Because Paul has been that for me. If there's anything that I've ever needed, and I don't ask, trust me, I don't ask. It's not my thing. But when I do, I know exactly who I can call who will say, I got you, big dog, no problem. No questions asked. And Paul has been that. Scratch has been that. And many others. So when I take somebody that's from my circle and connect them to other parts of my circle, it is because I now want them to see, experience, and understand. This is what God has allowed me and who God has allowed me to connect to. Today, you will see a ton of happy birthdays. And I honor and appreciate every last one of them. You know why? It means that God granted them another year too. It means that God allowed them to still be here to even wish me the happy birthday. That's why you cannot trip on if it's just on your birthday when you hear from them. Okay, that's a blessing. And I know people who will literally sit and look at their timeline and trip out. There go my dude, Scratch. Thank you, my brother. I would say something real disrespectful, but you know, God placed those kids next to us, so I really couldn't say some of the things I wanted to say, but I'm a man of God, so I'm not going to repeat those things here on social media. But that's my dude, Scratch, right there. He sucks as a bowler. He'll tell you differently, but it's okay. But that's what it is. And let me tell you something. Every comment, every like, every acknowledgement of my day is a blessing. You know why? I'm here to receive it. And I want you all to take a second. I want you to think of how many people right now are not going to be here for Christmas on Saturday. And I'm not doing that to bum you out. I'm not doing that to make you sad. What I'm doing is I want you to understand the blessing that you have in being here. I want you to understand this. And when it's your turn, and when you're blessed with Facebook sending out the message to everybody's timeline, it's Robert Scratch Perry's birthday, it's Tracy's birthday, it's Veronica's birthday, it's Toya's birthday, it's Michelle's birthday. And you start to get the messages from all the people, and some you're going to notice that the last time you talked to them was last year when they sent you a happy birthday. All right, I'll check the video footage. It's on the group. It's in the group, Scratch. Because I know Adam is editing his as well. I'll definitely check it out. But the reason why I want you to pay attention to that is because for some of you, thank you, Andrea. For some of you, those birthday messages stopped from some people. And they're no longer in a position to wish you a happy birthday. So I want you to just take a moment and think about how many people will not be here to wish you a Merry Christmas or another happy birthday. And that should ground you enough to enjoy every comment that is offered. This is one of the few days that I try not to allow any negative to get in. I try not to let any business situation get in. That's why this year was one of the first years I took off working. I'm not working the rest of the year. I'm going to do the mentor program tomorrow, which is the last day of this. Well, last day for me and Wednesday is the last day, and then they're on Christmas break. I have I knew you would say that, Scratch. Forget you. I'm gonna be very kind. I'm not gonna be disrespectful today. But I have one mentor session with the kids today, and I think that's it. I have to check my schedule. I don't think I have anything else scheduled for the rest of the year, and I'm not taking any more business for the next 2 weeks. And the reason why I take these 2 weeks to get myself together business-wise, to relax. Thank you, Tracy. I appreciate you. And I've sent out all my invoices. I'm not fighting with anybody today over money. I'll do all that at the beginning of the year. I'm not stressing because I'm here. And I've been blessed to be here. And for my birthday, whatever gifts, okay. I don't celebrate birthdays like everybody else. I reflect on birthdays. I'm not worried about the gifts, and I don't trip over who didn't get me this. People worry so much about things that they don't understand how blessed they are. And I've been saying this for years, and people say, you just say it to get out of getting gifts or getting gifts. I'm like, listen, my birthday 5 days before Christmas. Trust me, I grew up knowing I might get one gift on the 23rd. It'll be a late birthday gift and early Christmas gift. So please miss me with that. What I realized with birthdays is that people overrate them for themselves. He didn't get me. She didn't get me something. So now I'm upset. Oh, I can't wait till my birthday. I'm going to wild out. That's you. Do you? No judgment here. If you want to have the gigantic birthday extravaganza, do you. If you can afford it, do you. Which some people can't and they overspend, whatever. For me, I reflect. And I thank God for allowing me to be here 54 years. Because there were some people that didn't think I'd be here. And yes, there's been some times that I didn't think I'd be here. And then I think of those that's not here with me and realize that that could have been me. And when you really start to think about it, a lot of the weight that you put on all the other stuff, my celebration is of life. And that's why I take these next couple weeks off going into the new year to reflect on how do I figure out a way to get to 55 and so on and so on and so on. How do I benefit those around me? How do I become a better therapist? How do I become a better counselor? How do I become a better father? How do I become a better husband? How do I become a better friend? And more importantly than all of that, how do I become a better man of God? How do I increase the ability to show people that it's not about me? It's tough. And I work with people right now who struggle with understanding how and why they're in the position they're in. I work with people who struggle with making their relationships solid. I already get those senior discounts. They give you that AARP card at 50. But yeah, at 55, I'm almost there. But they start at 50, Veronica. They kind of remind you old at 50. Be like, yeah, you can get your AARP card. I've had mine now for 4 years. So I get them old folks discounts early now. I've been an AARP member for 4 years. Yes. But the gray reminds me. When I look in the mirror, I go, damn, I remember when this was dark. I remember when I was smaller and this was dark. But it is what it is. And that's what I want you to hold on to today. So thank you for all the happy birthdays. Please keep them coming. Keep them coming. But understand this. Please don't overlook the little things. Please don't overlook the blessings. Okay? You have some debt? Okay. Work on it. But don't overlook the fact that you're still here. Not in the relationship that you want to be in. Angrily single? Okay. Don't overlook the fact that you're here and that there's somebody out there looking for you. You just haven't connected yet. Yeah, I know. It's real easy to give up and think that you ain't going to find nobody. I get it. But don't give up. And you know, the suicide rates go up this time of the year because a lot of people do give up. Hey, thank you, darling. I just said I didn't say no names. I didn't call out nobody. You didn't hear me say no names. So I'm gonna leave that one alone, Veron. They say hit dog hollers. That's all I'm gonna say. And yeah, I wanted to come on and hang out a little bit because let me tell you something. The one thing I will never stop doing is making myself available. When I'm on because of the interaction I have with you guys. And it is my hope that I get to meet everybody that I talk to here on social media at some point or another. Because I'm not, and I will never overlook the value of being in someone's presence. And if I can be there, I'll be there. And if I can come, I'll come. And it's hard sometimes when you want to go somewhere you can't. And that's something that COVID has stole from us. Is that as much as we want to do what we used to do, we can't. And we're spoiled. All us adults are spoiled. We're children. When we can't do what we want to do, we get upset and we act a plumb fool. And I get it. I understand it. But at the end of the day, you're still blessed. You know why? You're here. And I released myself from money a long time ago. And it's funny, I said that to a person. And he said, that sounds like a broke mentality. And I laughed. I said, yeah, it might sound like a broke mentality to somebody who does not know God. And I wasn't disrespecting him. I understood what he said because he didn't understand what I meant when I said I released myself from money. He thought I said money don't matter. Nope. What I meant was that I don't chase money. I don't worry about money. Money is a tool. Like a hammer, like a pair of pliers, it's a tool. And I don't stress a pair of pliers. Thank you, Veronica. I don't want no spankings, but I'm going to preach today. But I don't stress a pair of pliers. I don't stress a hammer. I use it when I need it, and that's it. But if I start trying to stress a tool, then I am being used. Because then that becomes my God. I'm not with that. I stress people. Thank you, Angela. Appreciate you. And the more I stay connected to people, the better things will be. Thank you, Patricia. Appreciate you. And that's always been my focus. People, not money. Money will come. And it will go. But the longer I stress people, the more I work to connect with people. And you know what the proof is? When you run into the people that care about you and you care about them, and they go, I've been watching. You may not have heard a word from them on social media, but they tell you, I've been watching. That's a blessing because they don't have to. And I sat with my man Jazz yesterday. Shout out to Jazz. And when Jazz was explaining to me some things that was going on in New York, it was hard to hear. But the fact that him and I are still cool. And then we go back over some things that, when we bowled against each other and just having some fun. And then he says, but I've really been watching you doing your thing in Delaware, big dog, man. I'm super proud of you. I appreciate that. Because again, he doesn't have to. See, when you remove yourself from money. I never said money wasn't useful. I said it's a tool. But when you release yourself from money, what happens is that you open a way for people. And when you keep yourself connected to people, you will see the good and the bad of humanity, and that is where you'll find God. Because he's the glue to it all. Think I'm lying? Okay, I'll give you some proof. I used to work in a motel late at night, the 12 to 8 shift. You know how many prostitutes said, hey, pray for me? Why'd they say that? I wasn't a man of God then. Well, so I thought. I wasn't wearing my cross then. I think I had a Nefertiti on at the time. Something about me being connected to people and the way that I treated them, even though they were prostitutes, they would say, hey, baby, pray for me because I got to hit these streets. Okay, baby, I got you. I knew what they were doing. I didn't care. This is what a motel is. I worked at a hot chic motel. What you think I'm on in here for a short stay? Short stay is 3 to 4 hours, by the way, for y'all folks who ain't out in these streets. How'd they know? God knew. And I think what happens is so many of us get caught up in trying to chase the money. I get it. Bills got to be paid, right? But when you get the money, what do? Thank God. Who you thanking? Somebody put a gun to your head. You don't say, oh my God, $5 bill, please save me. No, you pray. And we just mentioned the C word, cancer. You don't get on and say, well, some of y'all do. Can I get some money? But for the most part, what do you ask for? Prayers. Who you praying to? They say even the devil know who God is, right? See, money is a tool. When you allow it to have more life to it, it alters your life. So when you hear me say I release myself from money, it means that the emotion connected to it is not there. If I don't make any money, I don't trip. When I make some money, I don't trip. What I'm happy to be is alive to do it or alive to lose it. Because how many of us would pay to have at least one person back this Christmas? I know I would. Quite a few people if I could. So does money really matter? Because you'd give your last to have a conversation with some of those people. One conversation. Some of us just to say goodbye in present. So how much is money worth when you would give it all away just for a hug from somebody that you loved? See, we miss God and how great God is because of the things that we place in front of ourselves. So on my birthday, I reflect. I reflect and I thank Him. I reflect and I thank the fact that I made it 54 years and you guys popping on and wishing me a happy birthday says everything that I need. Take a road trip to Delaware? Yes, we here. Come on. No taxes. That means you can eat some more if you want to get your girl up on. But we're good. Come on. I got 2 grills out back. And if the weather's nice, I don't care if it's cold, but if the weather's nice, I'm grilling something out there. And I was always connected to the country, South Jersey, Delaware, so doors always open. But I really want you guys to understand that. I really want you, as we're coming into the last couple of days of before Christmas and the rest of the new year and this whole Christmas spirit thing, I want you to understand that people miss what's really the thing. It is your connection to people. When I say to folks, I have a partner who's just on here. Shout out to Otis Bellinger. Yeah, man, I felt 75. My knees are. I'm 54, but my knees are like 92. Adam is starting to learn what this UBA life is like. He was trying to hold his own. He's getting better. It's a whole different ball game outside of Delaware. But here's the thing, right? And this time of the Christmas spirit and everything else. Remember, it is about the connection to people. We watch all the sappy Christmas movies and everything else. Oh, thank you, Sister Pat. I appreciate it. That means a lot coming from you, and I appreciate that. And, you know, my wife watches all these sappy Hallmark Christmas movies that don't have no folks that look like me in them. But listen, that's her thing. But here's what I always find interesting, right? Everybody gets filled with this Christmas spirit. You hear them say, you don't have the Christmas spirit. You know what the funny thing is? They just don't want to say a connection to a greater entity. Now, I'm not going to spoil the holidays for somebody and tell them that, you know, it's really the Holy Spirit, but they won't listen. But what you got to fight to remember is that it's about people. Christmas has never been about things. It's about people. Listen to the things that people miss. See, as a counselor, that's my job. But as a person, that's what I believe in. Listen to the things that people miss. You'll never hear them say, oh, I miss the money they used to make. Oh, I used to I miss the way they did their job so well. Oh, I miss how that paycheck looked when they would come through the door with it. No. Listen to the things that people miss. I miss their smile. Can't be bought. I miss their laugh. Can't be bought. I miss their hugs. Can't be bought. I miss their jokes. Can't be bought. I miss some other things. Well, you could buy that, but it won't be the same thing. you can get a replacement for some of that, but you can't get it from that person. Let me just say that. We are adults here, so you fill in the rest. But when you think about Mr. How that paycheck used to look, yeah, listen, Veronica, I'm being very real. So when you think about what you miss with the people who are no longer here, I'm going to tell you what's real crazy with that, right? I miss just hearing my mom say, hey, boy, for whatever reason, just, and then my grandmother in her Southern Baptist self, on the low, she was very rude. You're like, hey, nigga. It was always, hey, nigga. Pardon me, no disrespect to anybody. I apologize. But that was my grandmother. Hey, nigga. I'm like, and I would always say to her, Grandma, do I have to be that? And she's like, oh, shut up. I was like, okay. And I would call her, hey, old lady. All the time, hey, old lady. And she go, what's up? I miss those things. You can't buy that. And I guarantee you, all of you, and let me tell you what's funny is, Tiff and I was explaining to Adam about, we were talking about Garden City, and we were talking about our friend Putt. And we were explaining to him what made Putt special was his reckless mouth. I love my dude, but his mouth was reckless. But his bowling was as reckless as his mouth, and he bowled extremely well. Hey, Jack, what's going on, darling? And he could funnel all that recklessness into some quality action. He literally would disrespect you and then mop the floor with you the minute he picked up his ball. And we were joking about an older guy we were bowling on Monday night, and Putt, Tiff, shout out to Shiz, shout out to Brian Hunter, because we interchanged for a couple of years. And so Putt, we had just beat a team 2 games, we bowled 3 games. And one of the guys, an old dude, and he had like slick hair. He was you could tell he was a product of the 60s. Like he was the man in the 60s, but he had the I guess it would be called a conch, but whatever it was. So we were talking we were talk to him scratch. We were talking trash because we're very arrogant as a squad. Classic Walk Down was the name of our squad, which was very arrogant. So the old guy said, y'all talk a lot of, and y'all, he didn't say S. He said the whole thing. And Putt, ears perked up. He said, what? He said, yo, check this out, pretty hair. Rock with me now. I'm going to walk you through this. He said, check this out, pretty hair. Watch your mouth. Now, imagine a short, 5'6", 5'7", dark-skinned young man in his 20s. In his 20s, talking to a guy who's clearly in his 60s. With the conch, with the slick back. Putt goes, what? What'd you say, pretty hair? Watch your mouth. So the old guy said, you don't want none out here. So Putt is like, yo, I've been giving it to you all night. What you talking about? So he said, yo, youngster, you lucky. No, but and the old guy could bowl. So Putt said, yo, pretty hair, if you're nice, I might let you get this game, but you keep talking, I'm about to put it on you. So the old guy was feeling himself. So listen here, youngster, I beat people much better than you. You talking all this trash, you just got hot tonight. So Putt said, yo, pretty hair, I'm trying not to do it to you. Okay, we start bowling. Putt shoots 300. Now, 300 is a perfect game if you don't know about bowling. 300 is a strike in every frame. Now, this is what makes Putt great. Most people have to lock in and focus. I have just one 300. And it was hectic just trying to get that one. Putt had a few. But here's what makes Putt great, or made Putt great. After each strike, he turns and he keeps talking to him. He's striking, he's spinning around. Pretty hair, it ain't gonna stop. It's going. He said, "Say sorry, pretty hair. Maybe I'll sit down." And the old guy is getting frustrated and fuming, and he's trying hard to bowl under the pressure that Putt is putting on him two ways. And this is what makes Putt incredible. He's going to apply pressure verbally, and then he's going to apply pressure tactically. So it wasn't just talk for Putt. He channeled that disrespectful talk into outstanding application of what he was doing. That was his thing. So when he gets to the 10th frame, clean, all strikes, most people are so worried about messing up that they literally don't want to talk to nobody. They just sit there, and I know I didn't. Putt is actually talking to him and saying, you know, it didn't have to be this way. You didn't have to get beat like this. And we're killing him as a squad because we're feeding off of Putt's energy. And Putt turned to his team and said, yo, y'all blame Pretty Hair for this. I didn't want to beat y'all like this, but Pretty Hair asked you, so I had to climb in the car and beat all of y'all. And Tiff and I was like, yo, he is super reckless. And when he throws the last strike, he said, now, when I tell you watch your mouth, Pretty Hair. Yo, the old dude was so upset he just packed up his stuff and left. And we must have sat there and joked about that for the longest. Now, this is the blessing. When Tiff and I can tell the same story and have the same reaction and miss a brother the same way because of the love that we had for him. Because here's what it is for me. That's the Putt everybody else saw. But I remember our private conversations. And I remember the advice that he would ask for. And the best thing that he ever said to me was, yo, big dog, how was you able to stop doing all those things in the street? And I said, I had to focus on Tiff, my dude. And I said, I had to focus on God and Tiff. And this is what he said to me. He said, I hope to get there someday. He said, because I like what you and Tiff got, man. He said, I'm trying to get there, man. It's hard. And then he made a joke. He said, I love Hennessy too much, but I'm trying to get there. And if you saw him, the reason why they call him Little Man, he looks like a very young kid, but he's actually a grown man. And in Putt and I private conversations is what made me love him even more, was because it was that I know he didn't allow everybody to see that side of him. And that's what I'm getting at with this story. See, I reflect on my birthday. When we look at some of the people that we wish we had back, you're going to understand how special your birthday really is. How your birthday is a moniker, a marker to show your blessing. I don't know who's watching today and who will watch later on today. I won't be on at all today after today. I'm going to go back home and just get some work done, clean up my office and work on some progress reports. I don't really get on because it's just a flood of the messages, but I will later on go back and like, or I try, it's hard to comment on everything, but I try to, disrespectful with a smile. Talk to him, Scratch. Talk to him, Krista. Y'all know we all bowled with them and against them, one of the toughest. But I want you just to understand this, guys. And like I said, I'm taking this morning out. I just wanted to hang out because I know I'm not going to be on later on. Is that your birthday is a great life marker for you to stop and say, thank you, Lord. But not just say thank you in just words, but say thank you in feeling. Thank you because some people are no longer here to even have that feeling. I don't know how many more. I would like to think it's going to be long. I think we all do. We all come into this game hoping to get to 80, 90 or whatever. We all know that that's not the case. And I think if many more of us were just focusing on the fact that we don't know, then a lot of the things that we're troubled about, you wouldn't be. I'm not troubled about what I don't have. I focus on what I do and what I'm trying to get before I go. I'm trying to put things in place so KL maybe doesn't have to deal with some of the things that I have. You know how I know that works? I'm not dealing with some of the things that my mother and grandmother dealt at 54. So my goal is to make sure my sons and my daughters don't have to do this. Even if it's just me saying I'm sorry for the things I did as a bad father and praying for them every night, which I do. Thank you, Miss Pat. I try to be a decent storyteller. That's one of my gifts. I try. Your son has taught me to use that more often, because for a while I would mute myself and not say anything. And now, I said over a year ago, I'm no longer muting myself. I try to tell the story, so I appreciate you. Blessings. But that's the thing. The goal. No, let me tell you, it's not COVID. Plus, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm not going to worry. I lost my coat. I'm not coat. I left my jacket at the bowling alley, so I had to go the rest of the weekend with no jacket. I was out here looking like a crackhead in this cold weather with a t-shirt. And when we got to Brooklyn, excuse me, when we got to Brooklyn, shout out to Chef Danielle. We stopped by Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food, 497 Albany Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. So I'm not just going to put out her information and not stop by and get some food. So on our way back to Delaware, we stopped by her restaurant. So Tiff had went in to get the food and everything because I didn't have a coat. So then I felt bad that I ain't go see my girl. I said, okay, I'm going to run out, just see her for a couple of minutes and jump back in the car because it got cold yesterday. So as I'm going up the block, and it's a little short way, one of the cooks in Danielle's restaurant was coming out. He said, what's going on, big bruh? I said, what's going on, my man? He said, where your coat? Bruh, how you going to be out here with no coat? And I said, I lost my jacket. He said, come on, bro, you got to keep another jacket in the car, man. You can't be out here like that. You're going to get pneumonia. I was like, all right, brother. So when I turned the corner to come into the restaurant, there was a gentleman in a walker sitting there. He kind of looked at me like, fool, why you out here with no coat on? And I understood the look. But yes, I lost my jacket yesterday. So, and I didn't have time to go back out to Long Island to get it. So I had to rock out with no coat. It was cold just getting out the car on the turnpike to go in the bathroom. But, but what I don't know who needed this message today. I don't know who needed this today. And it might be you guys that's on. So if it's you, I appreciate you. Crystal, Pat, Veronica, Scratch, and I think who else is this? Quite a few. Toya, I see you here. Flex, Tracy. Shout out to James. Shout out to Lois. Shout out to my man Flex, Harvey. Shout out to Ken McFadden. My man Ken and I go back when I first started. Tiffany Green I saw was here. Shout out to Tiffany. So I don't know. Hey, Pastor Hawkins, how we doing, sir? So I don't know who needed this message, but again, the reason why I'm on, this is how I celebrate my birthday. I reflect. But I want you to understand that your birthday is a moniker, a marker for your blessings that you've gotten from the Lord. I don't want you to overlook that. I joke, I laugh, I play a lot. But please do not overlook what a birthday is from God. It is God's way of saying to you, I granted you more time. Because if you really think about it, and I said, if you look, you will see God. And the reason why you miss him is because of the things. Because if you look, birthdays, holidays, all of that, what's going on, Larry, are connected to something that you cannot control. But the reason why we overlook it is because of all the things. Every birthday message that I get from somebody today is a blessing. You know why? That's somebody else who's still here in my life. That I'm still here to read that. What's greater than that? And again, I'm going to take you down this road. Stop and think of what you would give to get an honest message from somebody who's not here. That's why those messages are important. There's somebody on your timeline right now, their message is stopped. There is no more messages. They can't say happy birthday to you or to me. And we have to live with that. So why would I overlook any of the happy birthdays? Brother Cox, what's going on, Brother Wilcox? Brother Cortez, what's going on? And then just stop and think about it. They don't have to hit the button. How many of you have saw happy birthday and You don't bother. Okay, today is this, today is this, and today is this, and you don't say nothing. So then think about how many people are going to hit that button for you on your day that you may not have talked to. That is a blessing. Thank you, Brother Scratch. And as always, a blessing to see you yesterday, my brother. I ain't like the fact you took my paper and my man Adam's paper, but we gonna do something about it. Adam's on drugs. He want to come back up there like January 2nd. I'm like, bruh, we might come back up there. I don't know. I got to come and bring some more game because I ain't giving up no more money. I'm just saying. But just stop and really think about this today. I want you to think about this, and I want you to carry this into Christmas and the new year. The minute you hear somebody complain like, oh, so-and-so can find time to wish me a happy birthday. Yeah, I ain't heard from them all year. Stop them and say, don't do that. Don't do that. That's a blessing. They're going, blessing? How the blessing? And she saw me last year and said the same thing. Stop them and say, you're looking at God and you don't even see it. And I guarantee you they fight you. I guarantee you they fight you. And you know what they're fighting? They're fighting what they perceive a blessing. Watch it. Watch how it works. Watch how when somebody complains about their birthday and you direct them to the stuff behind, watch how they'll fight you. Because we as children, in the eyes of God, will act like spoiled babies. I'm just telling you. Watch. Every message, every my messenger has been going off as I'm sitting here. I see it come up. I will send or try to send some type of response, whether it is a like, whether it is a heart, whether it is a direct message, to every person who sends me a message today. You know why? This may be the last time I get a message from them. That's what I do on my birthday. In the midst of my reflection, I thank God for allowing me that somebody even bothered. I don't worry about who them. I don't know who they are. I don't worry about that. Somebody felt it was that minute, that 30 seconds, that 10 seconds was enough. That's cool. You know why? Somebody living had to send that. Even if somebody had to create the bot that sent it to me. It's a blessing. Because the person that might have created that bot may not be here next year to send it. So I don't know who needed to hear this today. Yeah, it's my birthday, but it's not about me. It's about you guys as well. I don't know who's watching this or will watch this and needed to hear this today. And I want you to take time. I want you to honor the fact that you have another day. It's not just birthday. Like I said, birthday is a great moniker. It's a great marker that you could put in the snow and go, hey, 54 years. But every day I'm like this. If you really know me, do you know this? Every day I'm wired to just be me. You know why? And I said this every day of every year of the 22 years that I taught, whether I was in a good school or a bad school. I did this routinely. When people would say, Mr. B, why are you always so happy in the morning? I would say the same thing. I'm happy because I did not have to be here, bro. Or young lady, somebody woke up on the other side with no answers. Not me. I'm happy. I'm good. I learned that from my great-grandmother. She drummed that into my head. Boy, when you open up your eyes, that's the real gift. Because there's some people on the other side with no answers. And they got to face the Lord. And I don't know why that stuck with me, but it did. And I have been that way forever. When somebody say, how you doing? Hey, I'm blessed, man. I'm here. I say it all the time. I'm here. You know why? Somebody cannot utter those words any longer. And they're now having to figure out what they're going to say when that book is read to them. I'm not ready yet. I still think I got some work to do. But here's what I've come to realize north of 45. You got to prepare for it because it's coming. But that don't mean you have to fear it. You know why you don't fear it? Because if you're spending so much time enjoying those that are in your life now, you're not going to worry about it. Because when it comes, you can't do anything about it anyway. So that's what I do. And that's why I'm on this morning. I want to be able to take time out and offer something back to the people that pour into me. It's not about business. It's not about selling anything. It's not about anything that I do. It's not about the books that I write. Excuse me. It's not about any of that. It's about just allowing you to sit with me and me to sit with you and allow myself to reflect and hope that it hits home with some of you. And I hope that as you're sitting, wherever you're sitting, look around you and just thank God that you're here. I lost my cousin this weekend. I knew something was wrong, and it's one of those things you don't ask because the body is already telling you something's wrong because they don't look healthy. But you don't make it worse by saying, what's wrong? Stop being nosy. You know something's wrong. That's why you're asking. Don't ask. They'll tell you. Trust me. The people who are closest to the people who are not doing well know what's wrong. And if you don't know, it's because you weren't meant to know. So stop asking, what's wrong? It's disrespectful. Try asking, is there anything I can do? You good? Anything you need? You don't need to know. You see it. How about asking, can I pray for you? Can I pray with you? Can I get you anything? Or can you just sit there and shut up and just be there? When the person says, can you get me some water? Get your ass up and get that water. Pardon my language. Because we make things so grandiose about ourselves that we forget. It's not about us. It never has been. I had to learn that. It took me 37 years to learn that. It wasn't about me. 37 years of out here thinking it was about me. You know how happy I am that God has granted me 17 more to do for others? Does it mean I had to sacrifice stuff for myself? Of course. That's part of the game. But here's what I learned. I'll let you in on a secret. Let you in on this. If you do it honestly, meaning give up certain things for other people, God will reward you. Did you know that? Yes. Now, how long the reward will last? I don't know. Might only be a few moments. Might be a lifetime. Who knows? But you will be rewarded for what you give up. Even if it's just for a moment. Even if it's just for a moment. You will be rewarded for the service that you have provided others. And here's another reward that you may not be around to see. So rock out with me. You may have planted seeds that when they come to fruition, when they come to grow, they will do things that you never even dreamed of because you planted those seeds. And not just our children, friends, and not just our friends, strangers. By being you and servicing and looking to do for others, you would have planted seeds that you may never get to see, but not knowingly help change the world. And if you don't think about it and just do you, trust me, God will take care of the rest. God will take care of the rest. My grandmother knew I would be here. Now hear me now, listen to me. She knew I would be here. She shared with me my whole life about preaching the word. But she also said, I know I won't be here to see it. And I used to hear that and be like, come on, Grandma, ain't nobody trying to hear all that mess. Quiet. I used to say, come on, old lady, ain't nobody trying to hear all that. Why you keep talking about your death? And she said, boy, you can't run from it. Me and God had already worked this out. So I would entertain her. So I said, let me get this right, Grandma. Let me make sure I got this right, because you're killing me with this Bible stuff. Hear me. You and God made a deal about my life before I was born, and I don't have no say-so in this. She said, mm-hmm. And she was dead serious. I said, so let me get this right. You and God worked out a deal, and I got to be this, and I don't get to be nothing else? She said, yep. I don't care what you do. I don't care where you go. I don't care. She said, and I don't care. It might even be my death that brings you back to the table. But you're going to preach this word. You're going to serve God. You don't have a choice, because I know what I prayed to God for. Now, to anybody watching, that may sound crazy, right? But let me tell you, as a 54-year-old man of God, why not only was it not crazy, it was prophetic. My grandmother never wavered from that story. I would come in some nights drunk, stinking of women. Well, it was what it was. And she would look at me and go, boy, do whatever you're going to do. God going to clear away. There ain't nobody trying to hear that. Let me go lay down. Get up in the morning, and I'm getting everything. I went through Mahalia Jackson to Marvin Sapp. That's how far my thing is with this. I went from hearing Mahalia Jackson early Saturday mornings or Sunday mornings after hanging out. Oh, ain't nobody trying to hear this. Reverend James Cleveland. Now, you older folks know who I'm talking about. To as late as Marvin Sapp, Tamala Mann. I'm like, oh, Lord, I just want to lay down. All this noise. But when I finally heard the Lord's voice and went to Bible study and started my trek to become a better man of God, or actually a man of God, there was my grandmother. Now let me show you how God blessed me. I was able, and I'm going to share this and I'm going to get off. One day we're sitting at the kitchen table. Now, I have been in Bible study now for about a year. Changed my life. And my grandmother seemed unimpressed. And I wasn't looking for her validation. I really wasn't. I was like, okay, but I was on some, I got to get my life together. And I went back to Bible study, and I had been in Bible study for about a year. And I remember we're sitting at the kitchen table. My grandmother always had this very big Bible that she read every morning. Every morning. I have that Bible. It's in the house. I have her Bible, and I have my mother's Bible. And I'll eventually pass that on to KL. She's reading the Bible, and she had said something about hiding money or something from her partner, not my grandfather. I don't know what you would call him. My grandmother's boyfriend, I guess. Yeah, she had a boyfriend. They had been together like 20-something years. And I said, Grandma, you can't be hiding money from your man. The Bible doesn't support that. And she looked at me like, you gonna tell me about the Bible? And she said, God said the right hand ain't supposed to let the left hand know what's going on. I said, Grandma, that's not what that scripture means. And she looked at me like, what? You gonna sit here and this is what she said, you gonna sit here and tell me about this book right here? I said, yeah, old lady, I am. I said, that scripture in Matthew 7 is referring to charity. You think God wants wives hiding money from their husbands and husbands hiding money from their wives? That wouldn't be scripturally correct. The scripture you're referring to is when you give charity with one hand, you don't run down the block and say, hey, I just gave Toya some money. Hey, I just gave Veronica some money. Because then it is not about the blessing that you gave Toya or Veronica. You're making it about yourself, which then takes the attention off of God, and you're not supposed to do that. So when I explained it to her, I said, let's do this, Grandma, let's do this. And I was already an educator, so I've been a teacher. I said, let's do this. Let's go to the Word, and let me show you in the Word. So we flip the Bible open, we're looking at it, and when I read it to her and show her, she sits there. And I wasn't doing it with arrogance. Let me just say that to anybody watching. I wasn't doing it for the point of making my grandmother wrong. It was that as a man of God, even though new, my job is to make her understand that even though you're older and senior, you're getting it wrong. And there's a scripture that supports. Read Job, you'll understand that we got to sometimes listen to children. And I remember she just sat there, and I was like, I was joking with her. I said, see, Grandma, I'm just telling you, I'm getting there. And she started crying. And I was like, oh, I done messed up. My grandmother's crying. And I'm like, and any of us know you don't want to see a grandmother. You don't want to see a grandmother or even your mom cry. You don't definitely want to see grandma cry. I'm like, what's the matter, old lady? And she said, I told you. I said, told me what? She said, I told you. You see what God did? You see, I told you. You didn't want to listen to me. You see what God, you see who God is? And I said, you're right, old lady. You're right. And so she gave me a big hug and kiss, and I had to go. So I went to Bible study that following Wednesday, and it was registration. And the way my Bible study, I went to a Methodist Bible study. I wasn't a member of the Methodist Church, but that's where my Bible study was. Hey, Dave. Hey, Chef. Good to see you yesterday, Chef. That jerk chicken, woo, 497 Albany Avenue. Okay, I'm going to do a little business. Ethel and Annie Mae's Soul Food. That's Chef Danielle right there. You guys follow her right now. So he'll make you smart on your elders. Thank you, Sister Pat. And so I'm at Bible study. I'm talking to my partner, Mike, and we're talking because they had registration for different classes. And the way Bible study worked for us, you went through different classes. So you had the introductory class, and there was different books. And Bible study was first class is 36 weeks. Second book, which is a yellow book, was 34 weeks. Third book was second year was a green book, 34 weeks. Third year was a yellow book. So it was the first book was being a disciple of God, 36 weeks. Second was understanding Genesis and Exodus and Luke and Acts. So the birth of the world and the birth of the church. And then the third book was all the major and minor prophets. That was the third year. And then my fourth and fifth year was studying Jesus in various forms for 2 years. So I was on my second year. So I'm talking to Mike, and, you're registering because, you register so they know where to put the instructors or whatever. And I see my grandmother come through the door. Thank you, Sharon. And Mike says, they were great classes, Danielle. And taught by down-to-earth people, so you weren't being indoctrinated or preached to, because I wasn't even a member of the church. I just came because I wanted to study, and it was open to me. So my grandmother comes through the door, excuse me, and Mike goes, yo, it's your grandmother. So, of course, I'm thinking something's wrong. It's Wednesday night. I'm at Bible study. My grandmother comes through the door. I'm like, hey, old lady, what's going on? You okay? Hey, what's going on there, Coach? Coach Glenn P. Brooks in the house. And my grandmother said, where do I sign up for Bible study? I said, wait, for Bible study? Why are you here for Bible study? Now, hear me on this, and I'm going to show you how God works. I'm going to wrap this up. She said, if you can teach me about God, then there's got to be other things that I need to know. I said, really, old lady? She said, really. Dollar Bill, what's going on? And I said, really, old lady? She said, yes. And my grandmother signed up and registered and went to Bible study. She bought a book. Now, she cheated some days. I'm not going to lie. I got to be honest. God is watching. She would call me and go, what's the homework for week 3? What'd you write? I'm like, Grandma, you got to read the scripture. Oh, boy, just tell me what I got to write, because I'm behind. I got to go to church tomorrow. I said, Grandma, you calling me to cheat? That ain't that. She said, boy, just tell me so I know what I got to write. And, of course, I acquiesced. Lord, forgive me. So I would tell her, here, this is what last week's lesson was. And she was like, okay, but she went. Now, she only went 1 year. She only went 1 year. But that 1 year meant so much more to me than it did for her. Brother Dollar Bill, what's going on? Love you, brother. Love you. Thank you, brother. Appreciate you. And I love you, Dollar Bill. Dollar Bill and I go all the way back to when we were kids. Another person I've known over 40 years. And she only went to 1 year. I attended Bible study for 4 years. I learned more in 4 years in Bible study than I ever did going to anybody's church. But what I learned, it made me not only a better educator, it allowed me to be able to share about this word in a non-preaching, non-indoctrinating way, so you could be comfortable having a conversation with me about God. It is why my business is centered on faith. My life is centered on faith. And even when I make my mistakes, I go to God first. Something I learned from my grandmother. And I want to leave you with this. The reason why we get at the feet of our elders is because what they pour into us, even if it's wrong, if we keep searching for righteousness, that righteousness will bring us back to them to help them in later years while we grow into them. Hear what I just said. If we stay at the feet of our elders and listen to them, they will lead us to wisdom. That wisdom coming from God will allow us to come back to them, to help them as they grow older, as we become them. And then we have to impart that to those who will sit at our feet. And I've never let that go, because here's what I keep in my heart and my mind. If she knew when I was born I would be this, what else did God share with her that I need to go back and reflect on? And then also, the reason why I stay in constant conversation with God, what will he download to me to give to my children and to someone else? And you know how I know it's working? Because I sit now and people come to me to get help. And sometimes I don't know where the answers come until God grants them to me. I've walked into churches and helped them see why certain things need to be in place. And you know what? They say, okay, Keith. I've had people say, I told my friend to call you. How did they know to do that? Because I honored what my grandmother poured into me. Are you seeing it now? And if you look hard enough, go back to what I said at the very beginning of this, all of this, you will see God. You see how we cloud it? God has been firmly in place the whole time. Because if you look at the linchpin to all of it, it's God. See, that's why I don't fight with atheists. I love them. I got a couple atheists on my page. My man Troy just reached out to me and said, I'm sorry I missed you yesterday. My dude, I wish I had seen you. He gives Christians the business. But you know why I love him? Because our love for each other is real. He don't care that I'm a Christian. He actually says to me, if I ever decide to come back to the Christian faith, it'll be because of you. That is a blessing. This is an atheist saying, if I ever decide to come back, it'll be because of someone like you. Do you understand the blessing in that? When he attacks Christians on a regular? Thank you, Tennille. So I just want you to understand this. God is there. Shout out to you, Lucky. I'm sorry I missed you, Luck. What's up, Luck? That's another one of my dudes right there. I was at Garden City yesterday, Luck. Saturday, hanging out with Scratch yesterday. Thank you so much. That's my man Lucky right there. Great dude, too. Actually, all of y'all great folks. And I want you to take that with you into the next 5 days. We don't know how many days God is going to grant us. Some of us are so happy to be here that we don't care about things. Spread that. And then I want you to take a moment between now and the first of the year and thank God that you are here. Because somebody that you love, somebody whose voice you would kill to hear is not. And you look up and you'll be happy that you're 54 like me. Or you'll be happy that you're 65, 80, 27, 18 if I have any younger folks watching. Every day is a blessing. So yeah, I'm going to spend time today sending messages. And I thank all of you. And like I said, I see all the text messages lighting up. I almost pull back just because it becomes overwhelming. And I just kind of gear up and then I hit everybody back later on. But I hope my words today, this is my birthday present to myself, by the way, to share this. Because I didn't know what I was going to say. So again, God gave me everything today. I have no notes. I just pulled over. I'm still outside the after school. The program that I dropped KL off at. And I just have learned that when God gives me something, I share it. That's what I mean by not muting myself. And I want you to do the same. I want you to start looking at what is it that you need to give out? This is what I do. This is what I do as a therapist, what I do as a Christian counselor, what I do as a crisis specialist. I sit down and go, let's talk about this. Let's figure it out. Why do you think I say, bring me your pain? You think I just want people bringing me negativity just to bring it? Oh, no. I bring it because I was built to absorb it. and able to disperse it. Why do you think I have a hashtag? We can fix this. You and I can. You know why? Because I'm going to bring God to the table with me. I don't know what you're going to bring to the table, but I'm going to bring God to the table with me. And what I'm going to do is allow God to work through me to help you. Brother John, what's going on, sir? Great to talk to you the other day, my brother. Great conversation Friday. But that's what I'm going to bring to the table. I'm going to come to the table with God, and I'm going to talk to you. And I'm going to let God show me exactly what I need to say and do and lead you to a way to fix what's wrong. That's why my hashtag is, we can fix this. I'm not being arrogant, because my belief, my God, I'm being very selfish right now, my God says, when two or more people together, he is present. Well, if the greatest force on the planet, around the planet, ever seen or heard about on the planet, is in presence, when I'm talking to someone, why would I not think things can't be fixed? I'm allowing you into my head to see how I think, as crazy as that sounds. My hashtag, we can fix this, is because I'm crazy enough to believe that we can. Listen, somebody was crazy enough to think you could fly a metal container from one part of the country to another, and now we got airplanes. Some crazy fool thought that we could copy a piece of paper in New York and have it magically pop up in Los Angeles. Yeah. Now imagine how crazy that sounded when he first put it out there before it had ever been seen. So yeah, I'm crazy. You have to be crazy in this world. It's how you offset the foolishness that's out here. You know how crazy I sound when I don't really celebrate birthdays like that? I used to have kids go, you don't celebrate your birthday? You don't want gifts? Nah, I'm good. Why don't you want gifts? You know how crazy I sound? Or when I go, I don't celebrate Christmas like that? You don't celebrate Christmas? You don't get gifts? Automatically to the things. And if our children are reacting that way, where do you think they got it from? They get it from us. All right, real quick, I'm still here. Put a 1 in the chat room if you have seen people at their birthday party. Hear me now. Put a 1 in the chat. No, even better. I want you to say me. Put a me in the chat if you have been at a birthday party and the birthday person, male or female, is upset because somebody didn't give them a gift or somebody didn't show up. But yet there's a room full of people or a few people, whatever, and gifts, but they mad because somebody came and didn't bring them one or somebody didn't show up. Put a me in the chat. I'll wait. I have watched people, thank you, Scratch. I have watched people get bent out of shape. Thank you. Appreciate that. Thank you, Toya. I've watched people, thank you. I've watched people get bent out of, thank you, Veronica. I've watched people get bent out of shape. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you, Larry. Thank you, Toya. They get bent out of shape over one person or two people who didn't show up or didn't bring them a gift, and then just spoil the vibe for everybody else because they so worried about themselves. Man, listen. Come on now. Yeah, you got to be crazy out here because look at how people react. How am I going to work with that if I'm not crazy? Because I literally sometimes have to fight with a person. You know, it's not about the birthday gift. No, because if they loved me, they would have bought me something. You 45 years old. No, you don't understand. I mean, I know you got to do your thing as a therapist and as a counselor, but you don't understand. Because if they loved me, they would have bought me something. What book of the Bible is that? Is that in the Torah? Quran? Leviticus? What am I rocking with? Thank you, Toya. Exactly. Where'd you get that? Galatians? Where's that? So forget everybody else who showed up here because you mad. And when we see it in kids, we tell them, it's okay. It's okay. Just, look who came to see you. So why do we tell kids that, but we don't tell ourselves that? I've watched people, male and female, at a birthday party, at a club, stomping around angry because they didn't get the gifts that they thought they should get. They didn't get enough money. How you only go? I only got $7,500. I was trying to get $10,000. And that's truth, what I just told you. Yeah, I said nigga-lations. I'm glad you caught that to it. I'm telling you that's the truth. You know what? I was at a party and the chick said that? She said, this is whack. And the brother who I was cool with said, what's the matter, baby? I got $7,500. I was supposed to have at least $10,000. Who counts the money at the party? How you upset that you got only $7,500? But it ain't even open bar. We getting robbed over here. And you mad that you got $7,500? No. Can I get that $7,500? Watch how I make that work. And was mad the whole night. And said, we messed up her birthday. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know we were supposed to show up with 5 figures. So when I started laughing, and she was like, you can leave. I said, no, I can leave your area. I can go to other parts of the club. My man was like, nah, come on, big dog. Don't do that. I said, yo, check your chick. Because you know I'm reckless. Because I was about to give it a business. Out here pouting because you got $7,500 and your man paid for everything. Don't act like I don't know. One more drink and I would have been very disrespectful. Mad that you didn't get $10,000. I was married to a woman like that, by the way. Do you know that my wife, when she was sorting out, my ex-wife, excuse me, not Tiff, my ex-wife was sorting the wedding gifts out based on their value. I was sitting in the hotel like this, and I was thinking to myself, what the hell, who did I marry? I was never raised like this. She literally was putting the gifts in piles based on their value and criticizing the people who gave them. You know how bad it is to marry somebody and know that the night after you said I do, you know you effed up? That's how I knew. And instead of just cutting my losses then, I didn't. It took 8 more years before I left. My ex-wife literally had the envelopes on the bed, the gifts in different places. And she was like, who gave us a damn deep fryer? We don't need no damn deep fryer. I was like, and then when she was opening up the envelope, she's like, this is all they gave? And I was like, I wasn't raised like this. But it was my own fault because I married her. And I shouldn't have, and I knew better, and I didn't. And that's another lie for another day. I'm going to talk about when you knowingly marry or get into a relationship with the wrong person. It says a lot about you. And you have to eat that. You have to hold that. All right, guys, listen, let me get ready to go home, clean up, get these progress reports done. I have to clean up. And to anybody watching, thank you for sharing. Thank you for taking the time out to be with me. Thank you. Let me just run through these names again. Veronica, Scratch, Toya, Dollar Bill, Lucky, Glenn P. Brooks, Sister Patricia, I appreciate you. Evangeline, I appreciate you. Pastor Hawkins, I appreciate you. Crystal, I appreciate you. Eric Wilcox, appreciate you. My dude. Larry Cortez, I appreciate you. My man Trini. Michelle Green, I appreciate you. Tiffany Green, I appreciate you. Let me see who else I got here. Paul Rodriguez, I appreciate you. Brother Aaron, appreciate you, even though you're down in Florida, so I'm semi-hating you right now with your 75 and 80 degree weather. Forget you. I'm out here in 27 degree weather. Dollar Bill, Sharon, I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me see. I want to make sure I at least get to everybody. I appreciate you. Everybody that sent me a message today, everybody that's going to watch this, I appreciate you. Lord, bless them all. Cover them all, Lord. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Let me see. I know I missed some other folks here. I want to make sure. All right. If there's anybody else that I missed, and let me see. Again, thank you. So again, my man Paul, great to see you, brother. Always. Love you, bro. I got to get a little bit better. You a hitter now. I got some work to do. I got to lower my voice when talking to you. I hate to say that, but you a hitter right now. I got some work to do. Hey, Tiffany. Keep up the great work, Tiff. I see you grinding. But yeah, great to see you, Paul. My man Adam was super excited. He'll definitely be back, so I appreciate you. Shout out to Paul. And again, if I missed anybody, shout out to John. There we go. I know I missed one person. Shout out to John. Thank you for coming through, brother. I appreciate you. I'll make sure I got everybody before I go home. I could drive, but I'm not doing that more. I got to get away from doing that driving and going live. I'm trying to get away from negative behaviors. It's not that important. I'm actually spending less time on social media. It's the first time I've been live in a couple weeks. I'm reorganizing the business. And before I jump off, Tiff and I are having conversations about starting a podcast so we can tell you stories like this and many more. We're going to be talking about, if we do it, we're going to be talking about parenting and relationships and marriage and dating, and there'll probably be some sexual conversations. Not the way y'all thinking, y'all nasty. But we're going to talk about all of that because if we do this podcast, but we'll probably just start out by doing some things. New Year's Eve, we're doing our last live from the Unapologetically Keith group. So if you want to come join us New Year's Eve, if you shout out to Tennille. I miss my girl Tennille. Shout out to Tennille because February I'll be in Chicago for the release of the documentary that I'm in with her, as well as the book that she created with all us men of color, successful men of color. So shout out to Tennille Jackson. Go by Tennille Jackson's page, and if you want to purchase the book, or just see me if you want to purchase the book, or if you're in the Illinois area and want to see the documentary, I'm going there for the release in February. So check out Tennille Jackson. Shout out to you, Tennille. I got to catch up with you because I actually got to get copies of the new book. But I'm in a book with Tennille Jackson. And that's another thing, too. I have no problem with working a lot of folks. Y'all should know that already. But shout out to Tennille Jackson for shooting the documentary. I will be there for the screening of the documentary. Can't wait. So I'll be there in Illinois in February. And I can't wait to get my copy of it and check out the work that Sister Tennille has done. And again, shout out to her. And shout out to Elise Gabriel with the release of Soul of a Man Part 3. Yeah, I'm doing the business part now. So shout out to her because that's the other book that I'm in. I haven't been doing too much writing, but I do have plans because my new book will be, thank you, Tiff, I appreciate that. Thank you, Toya. But yeah, we're thinking about doing a podcast, but also I'm doing From Gigolo to Jesus, 10 steps to develop, 10 steps for personal growth and spiritual transformation. And I'm actually creating a course that's going to go with that. And so keep me in prayer. I'm not sure when I'm going to actually release that. And Tiff and I, like I said, have been working. Hey, Terry. Thank you, Terry, for stopping by. Tiff and I are actually talking about the podcast, but we're going to do some things first because it's easy to say we're just going to do it. We're not going to throw it out. But Tiff and I did have a radio show 7 years ago before KO was born. It was very successful, but we shut it down with the birth of our child. We did a radio show before that. It was Black Love Radio. Then it was Reality and Relationships. And I did a third radio. I had originally started in radio back in 2009, 2010. I had a show, 3 Ingredients, 1 Foundation. Then Tiff and I went on to do Black Love Radio. Then from Black Love Radio, we went on to Reality and Relationships. Shout out to Rich Money from the Bronx who used to, we did it on his platform. And so we thought about it and said it might be time for us to return because also we have a course that we might be teaching as well to be able to help married couples be able to find what they need to be able to put their relationship in a better place. So we got some things we're working on, but we're not going to release it until we know that there's actually a room for it. So let me actually put my seatbelt on here, put my jacket and everything on here. I ain't riding around without no seatbelt. Oh. All right. Want you to have a wonderful day, guys. That's how your day should actually flow, like the way this song goes. If your day don't sound like that, if your day is not, then if your day is not going like an Isley Brothers song, you need to work on that. This is how my days sound in my head, believe it or not, really. Sound just like that. Believe it or not, I just walk around like the Isley Brothers are singing inside my head. I tell you I'm crazy. I'm honest, I'm telling you. So if you're not If you're not vibing, if you ain't got like the Ozzy Brothers playing inside your head while you at work or while you at home, this is what's going on inside my head throughout the day. Anyway, guys, have a good one. God bless you. And if I don't talk to you before the holiday, take care. Crazy is cool. Thank you, Toya. I will talk to you guys soon. New Year's Eve, Unapologetically Keith. If you want to come hang out with me and the wife on New Year's Eve, just let me know. I'll post the link. But that'll be our last show on the Unapologetically Keith group. But the group will remain open. But we are shutting down the lives until we decide to do this podcast or not. How many of y'all knew that I Got a Man came from this song, Taste the Honey? Did you know that? So y'all thought it was going to say, I got a man. Nope. Taste the Honey, Rescue Me. That is the song from I Got a Man. Y'all didn't know that. That's where it was sampled from. All right, yeah, I know, I'm crazy. But I'm a music junkie. So yes, I Got a Man came from this song right here. Taste the Honey, Rescue Me. Go check it out. And just listen to the intro. And you're going to hear, I Got a Man. But that's not the song. Positive K used the sample from this song. Have a nice day. Come on. Ooh. All right. Have a great day, guys. Enjoy yourself. Talk to you soon. Blessings. Rescue me. Loving. Come on now. Rescue me. Love and care. Ooh. I'll make you so very happy. Come on. I'm not no crab inmate. You can't get me with a line like that. Oh, come on. Bum, 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 bum.